What is up, everybody? You already know how it goes. It is your boy B back with another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. If you have not already, man, make sure you guys are like, commenting, and subscribing, and make sure you guys are making the most of your time and becoming 1% better every single day. So today we are going to be talking about 7 things I've learned while dealing with wholesale buyers. Now, I do want to make this clear. A wholesale buyer is going to be different than just a regular buyer. A lot of us, we get it confused, right? So we seem to think that a buyer is just a buyer, right? No matter what, but there are actually differences in the buyers, and the differences really do matter. So I wrote down some lessons that I've learned. If you don't know, I've been flipping phones since 2014. Found my first buyer in 2014 with my first wholesale buyer in around 2016. And I've been building since. I've talked to buyers all around the world. I have connects to buyers all around the world. I've had failed relationships with buyers. I've had good relationships with buyers. I've caught buyers trying to scam me. The list goes on. Okay. One thing I will say is it's business, right? So there's no real personal to this. This is all business. But you do want to follow some things that I'm going to tell you. So I wrote them down, and I want to be able to bring it to you, because before you start your journey, or if you're embarking in the journey already and you're already processing this and already dealing with buyers, one, I'll cover this in another video, but I will say a reseller or a refurbisher is different than a wholesale buyer. And that's sort of again where it's a big misconception. A refurbisher is somebody that does not buy new devices. They only buy used devices. A wholesale buyer is going to buy everything and anything, okay? It has to do with phones, all right? So the first thing I want to talk about, and the first thing I wrote down, is a wholesale buyer is not a buyer. And when I wrote this down, what made me really think about this is me starting out. I had to realize that just because a buyer or a wholesale buyer has buyer in it doesn't necessarily mean that they're technically a buyer. And what do I mean by that? If you know, with the phone flipping community, usually if you're going to offer up, people can negotiate, right? You have it to where people can say, okay, I'll make an offer, or they can ask you a question. We do this all the time, right? We make offers. We try to negotiate people. We try to get the price that we want. With a wholesale buyer, that doesn't work. They give you a price list, and that price list and that price that they tell you is that price that you're going to get. Now, when it comes to this was one of the biggest pain points I was having personally, because when I first started getting phones, it was a real headache when it came to somebody. Prime example, an iPhone 13 nowadays is very, 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 very cheap, okay? They're not paying a lot of money for it, so they'll pay around like $230. So I hit up a buyer that recently came back in the States, and I asked him, I said, how much for iPhone 13? He said, I can do $240. But I now already have 50 plus buyers on the price list, right? The buyer's price list you can get at ironhustlersmindset.com. I have a whole bunch of buyers now. This buyer I used to deal with a long time ago. I just wanted to see what his price was. So he said I can do $240. When I went and put the phone, so with the buyer's price list, you have to send an email. So when you purchase the price list, it's a one-time fee of $80. You purchase it, it gives you an email to send the device that you want to sell to the buyers. So you send it to that email, and it shoots out to 50 buyers, in state and out of state. So that's what I did. I sent the iPhone 13 out to the buyers. The highest offer I got was $320. But yet the buyer that I used to deal with a long time ago was only willing to give me $240. And it's no way I could say, hey, can you do $330 or $300 or $340? Because he doesn't negotiate. His price is his price. One thing I do understand with business is respecting somebody's price, but I do get to that your price is crap, okay? And that's how buyers are. Like, sometimes their prices aren't what you want, and you can always get higher. And sometimes you got to go to a consumer to get a higher price if you want to. So a buyer is somebody you can negotiate with, in my opinion, when it comes to the phone flipping game. But a wholesale buyer isn't somebody you really can negotiate with. Now, you may get some buyers you get some wiggle room with, but if I got wiggle room with a buyer, it makes me think this buyer is shaving off more than what he should be for the device, because why didn't you just give me a higher price in the first place? Like, I don't play about that. The next one is relationships are more important than the device. Now, I just talked about the guy that I used to sell with, and I asked him, right, how much for the iPhone 13. I have a really good relationship with him. Like, that has nothing to do with just selling phones. It's just, hey, he checks on me, I check on him, and just getting in with that buyer just in a first name basis, and just knowing their situation and them knowing your situation is good, because that's sort of kind of what spikes up your price. Like, I know a lot of people that sell phones that have good relationships with me. They're always going to get top dollar because I understand their situations, and I know they're always going to come back to me, and I know they have some type of loyalty to me. When you establish some type of loyalty to a buyer, I'm telling you, they are willing to give you a higher price. But if you don't have any loyalty and you don't have any type of relationship, and you're just a text, that's all they see you as, is a text or a call, they're not going to give you the best price, because they don't even know you have a family of 4, or they don't know that you have your own store and you're an entrepreneur, or that you're trying to build your business up. They don't even care. All right, so that's why I say, like, before you just like look at somebody as just, hey guy, I have this phone, and that's all you text. Like, text your body, like, hi, what's up, man, how's everything, or happy holidays. Like, that's the best one. Like, when it's a holiday, just wish them a happy holiday, because you never know what can happen. You can sell them a fake phone, and if they know you and know your intentions and know that you accidentally did that, they are not going to be as upset more than if you didn't establish any connection with them and then you sold them a fake phone. They might be like, oh, this boy trying to get me, like, you know what I mean? So it's just all about understanding that the relationship is important. The next one is local buyers are usually just resellers like us. So local wholesale buyers, like the guy that I'm talking about that, again, offer me that low amount, he's probably just a reseller overseas. And this is a common occurrence in the US of A, okay? A lot of people say that they're a buyer and say this and say that, and they don't really be about it. It is what it is, a wholesale buyer, but not everybody is. So that is one of the frustrating things with me, like, because as like a store owner, prime example, you have people come into your store and be like, hey, I'm a wholesale buyer, and they're not. They don't even have the cash to pay you out for your phones. It is what it is, okay? The next one I'll say is they can always offer more. Now, I know this is a contradiction, because in the beginning of the video I said that wholesale buyers don't negotiate, and they don't. But it's really important to understand that the buyers that you get are making some type of money, okay? And whether it's $10, $20, $30, $40, whatever, they're shaving off the top. So if you're not happy with a price, don't just sell it, right? You can try and find another buyer, try to find somebody else that will offer more. There's other avenues. Don't take anything dirt cheap. Don't take something you feel is unfair. And that's really what I mean by, like, I don't take anything that I feel is unfair, okay? I might not like the price completely, but I'm not taking nothing I feel is unfair, all right? Now, the next one, always have options. So I learned this early. If you guys watch my video on, you know, what I've learned from phone flipping and how I got started, I really got started because I didn't have any options. And having options is key, and that's again why we have that phone flipping buyer's price list, because options are essential. You need to have options. You need to have ways to have people competing against each other, and that's why I love our price list, is because we have all 50 buyers competing against each other. We don't have any buyer comfortable. And again, one time $80 can get you buyers that are competing against each other, and that's something that you won't find anywhere else. When I created this price list, people thought I was crazy. Buyers thought that I was crazy. They thought that it would never be able to work, and it did. So that's awesome. All right. And then next, direct communication is so important. email, text, WhatsApp, being able to talk to some extension is important because you want to be able to relay messages to buyers. You want to be able to ask questions, get prices. You want to be able to have some type of connection. Now, I know people that find buyers on like Facebook, and you have to understand, like overseas, they're asleep when we up, right? So having somebody communicate in the country that you're in is important. So prime example, I have a buyer that's in China, but when I'm up, like right now, when I'm up, he's asleep, but he has somebody in the country right now that communicates to me if I need anything. So it's all about understanding that communication is important. All right. And then lastly, buyers, wholesale buyers will always buy new and used devices. It's never going to just be used devices, and they're always going to buy new. They're never going to turn down a new device. But if you do run across somebody that turns down a new device, 9 times out of 10 they are not a wholesale buyer. Alright guys, so thank you so much for watching. I didn't want to make this too long. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You already know how it goes. It's your boy B back with another video. I'll see you guys at the top because it's too crowded at the bottom. Peace.